Ja. Letztendlich nach dem Hintergrund hier, letztendlich mal Hintergrund.
Đó, giờ lại được rồi.
Mexe agora, mas...
Com'è?
Always flying. They're great flag flyers, not only in Denmark but all of Scandinavia, and you'll get very familiar with their colors. And this was the point we just went through at the moment, was customs point. There should technically be no customs control, no immigration control, because you are entering from one European Union country to another. You'll see the sign for the European Union in a moment with Denmark written in the middle. But even if it was not that you were entering from one EU country to another, generally there should not be any control anyway, or there wasn't before the European Union, because Denmark is also part of what they call this Nordic Union, and the Nordic Union was a union not between just Scandinavian countries, but what they call Nordic countries. So it's not technically part of Scandinavia, it's not part of this geographic unit, but it's considered part of this customs union, the Nordic Union between these countries. So there are certain similarities between them. So if you look on the right, you see them put together 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flags flying there. You can get them all with crosses on top, the Danish, Finnish, Icelandic, Norwegian and Swedish in a row. Was that a confusion of colours for you all in one? I told you there are great flagged flyers here. Anyway, you'll become familiar with all the different colours while we are travelling through the countries, because not only do they have flags flying everywhere, but people outside their houses often have flagpoles, and they don't have a large rectangular flag, but they have like a triangular strip flag. So we arrive into the Danish port of Gedser very quickly, in and out. There was a sign there already telling us we're leaving Gedser, so we're in and out of it in a couple of moments. Sign up on the right giving you all the traffic point connecting with Germany, obviously situated on the North Sea. Oh my goodness. Sorry, there's a bus in front of us doing some very strange manoeuvre. Other countries used to make their jokes about the Bosnians, you know, they were the ones they made all the stupid jokes about, and stereotypes are dangerous, but that driving he was just demonstrating actually certainly reinforced the stereotype. Thinking of is Norway, and Norway is situated on the very western side of the Scandinavian peninsula, and this is the part of the peninsula that has the really dramatic landscape. Denmark is conversely, it's a very small country. It's a very flat country, and this area that we're going through at the moment, sometimes it's even referred to as the Dutch district of the country as well. You can see it's very flat, not quite as flat as the Netherlands, but still nevertheless very, very flat. And all also a lot of the landscape is, because it's so flat, it's backed by dikes as well, just like one finds in the Netherlands, so they give it this name, the Dutch district. Also, you can see a lot of windmills. We saw many of these in Germany as well. These are not Dutch-style windmills, but modern windmills. And it's a very important source of power, so generating electricity here in Denmark. You'll see windmill farms everywhere around the country. And it's also one of their major the country is very predominantly an agricultural country. It's the most fertile of all the Scandinavian countries, and apart from their windmills, another well-known export in this country are their various agricultural products, including, I'm sure you know, Danish bacon. Now, the Danes are very famous for their pork. This is what we're having tomorrow night, by the way. Danish rooted between 90 and 100 inhabited islands. But that doesn't mean to say that's all of them. There are many other smaller skerries and uninhabited islands, but between 90 and 100 that are inhabited. And we're going to be crossing today from 3 different islands. So we arrived on the island of Fitch Connection. That will take us to the largest island in Denmark, which is the island called Zealand. So Zealand is not only the largest island, but it is the island where Copenhagen, the capital city, is situated, and it's the most densely populated of all the islands as well. The next largest island after that, which we don't visit on this tour, but is directly to the west of Zealand, is an island called Fyn, F-Y-N. And the main town on that island is a town called Odense. And the reason I mention it is there are 2 claims to fame. The oldest one that most people have heard of is that Odense was the birthplace of the famous Danish writer of Hans Christian Andersen. So while we are in Copenhagen, Hazel, our guide, will be telling you about various places you go past that Hans Christian Andersen lived here, he worked here, and so forth. But he was not originally from Copenhagen. He was from, to take a ferry. You can go from Copenhagen right down to the south of Italy now without actually having to take a ferry anymore. And they constructed an artificial island in the middle of the sea. And going over to the artificial island, on one side is an enormous suspension bridge, and then after that is a bridge just built on cement piers. And it's both a road bridge and a rail bridge. The railways, DSB, Danish State Railways, use it, but they, instead of the second bridge, they then have a tunnel that goes under the sea as well, and it is quite a spectacular sight. And the Danes were, for a long time, they were very upset because it never had any international publicity. Everybody heard about this infernal tunnel between England and France. It went on and on and on, the stories, and it was very famous and so on. But nobody had heard of their construction, and it certainly equals that in terms of engineering and technology. And with that connection, one can drive from Copenhagen across to the island, approximately the population of St. Petersburg. So one city has the population of the whole of this country. Moscow, just central Moscow, has a population of 8 million. When you add in the surrounding suburbs and areas, it goes above that, but just central Moscow, 8 million. So 2 cities that we'll visit in Russia have the same population as 2 Scandinavian countries. So it already gives you an idea of the feel that, you know, there's plenty of living space for everybody here. Well, the country, as I mentioned, so they have the main city, Copenhagen. Just as a by the way, you'll see the city soon. It'll be signposted once we get onto the motorway. And the name for the city, you'll see it's written in Danish. So Copenhagen is written K-O-B-E-N-H-A-V-N. So that is the Danish version. So it translates into English as Copenhagen. But in Danish, you'll see it written Copenhagen. So K-O-B-E-N-H-A-V-N with a slash through the O. So about 20% roof and the moss on the thatch. This was a traditional way of constructing houses in this country. Unfortunately, nowadays there are not so many thatched cottages left anymore for various practical reasons. Be replaced much more frequently than an ordinary tiled roof. It's expensive, it's a specialized job to do it, and also the insurance on these houses is quite high. But in certain parts of Denmark, the houses are protected. You know, they're under like the National Trust and they are cultural heritage areas. And when you go tomorrow on the excursion going to North Zealand, you're going to be driving along the coast and seeing some of the beautiful beaches. You might, by the way, if the weather is warm, you might even see some real live mermaids on the beach as well. You have to believe, by the way, to see. You've got to believe. And then along this, what they call a cultural heritage route, where there are many old thatched cottages left, and people there are not thatched roof. You have to keep the original style. So you get an idea a little bit of how old houses looked in Denmark. But, you know, these houses were originally, in days gone by, not a wealthy man's house, but nowadays to have one, you have to be quite well off. You know, they're considered very, what we would say, des res, you know, places to live in. Well, I don't know if you believe me about the mermaids, by the way, but when the summer comes, in this part of the world, you know, summer is very short. People, again, have stereotype ideas about Scandinavia. The Swedes always say the whole world imagines polar bears walking around the streets of Stockholm. I think that's why the ice bar is such a success, you know, because that's how people imagine the country to be. And also they imagine, you know, Denmark to be very, very cold all year round. But the reality is, it's a country of contrasts very much. So the winters here they can be bitterly cold. But during the summer months, the summer is short, but it can be short and very, very hot. And people who live in these Nordic countries, they are not like people who come from Mediterranean countries, or I know Australians, when they come here and they see people out sunbathing, they're absolutely horrified. They say, how can they do that? How can they be in the sun? But it's such a scarce commodity here that when the sun is out, everyone is out sunbathing. They love it. And, you know, Denmark has many beaches because it's a country of islands. It's famous for its beaches and some beautiful areas. Opportunity. One of the things you have to remember, because we're so far north, you don't have, in Copenhagen, there's no concept of midnight sun. You have to go right up to the Arctic Circle. But in the month of June, midsummer is usually around 21st of June. The sun hardly goes down. You know, at 11 o'clock at night, it's still light here, and everyone's out. The winters are long and dark. And actually, people in these countries, actually, Köpen is shortened. It was originally Köpman, but meant a merchant. So it comes from a word from merchant or trading place. And then Havn, H-A-V-N, is the harbour. And similarly, you'll see the suffix of K-O-B-I-N-G on many places, because it's just a derivative of old word for a merchant town or a trading centre. So you'll see it in 1972. And she is exceedingly popular for various different reasons. Having grown up in Britain, in the UK, I always make comparisons between the British monarchy, and of course it's a dangerous question depending on whether you're a monarchist or not, how you view things. But I think whatever your perspective, most people in the UK will say that, you know, the monarchy, with the exception probably of the Queen herself, but the rest of her entourage, by now, but it's a red flag with a white cross on it. It looks very, very similar to the Swiss flag. There is only one difference. Does anyone know what it is? No. No.
The stripe.
It's the Danish flag is rectangular and the Swiss flag is square, but otherwise it's the same colors, the same design. And the flag has a name as well. It is known in Danish as the Dannebrog, D-A-N-N-E-B-R-O-G. And there is a legend associated with how the Danes got this flag. The flag, according to legend, was a gift from God, that during the 13th century, the beginning of the 13th century, in the year 1219 precisely, in June, the Danes were engaged in a battle. They were at war with people. Significant rivers at all in Denmark. There are some very small rivers, one can say, very tiny rivers, but this stretch of water now, you'll see this is seawater that we cross over. This is the new bridge that we cross over. If you look to the left, the bridge over there is a very old one built between 1932 and 1937. It was built originally as a road bridge, and I remember the first time I ever came to Denmark, we had to take, that was the only bridge we could take across with one-way traffic, with traffic lights on either end. When it was built, it's not anymore obviously, but at the time it was built, it was the long time. Nowadays it's used as the rail connection. Well, I mentioned earlier about the currency. We're going to have such a short time in this country and in Sweden to get familiar with currencies. So you'll find as soon as you do that we leave the country. But remember that the unit of currency here, the name is krona, which translates like the word crown. When we go to Sweden, the currency has the same name, but don't be confused into thinking that it's the same currency. All the Scandinavian countries all have currency called krona, but they all have separate values. They have different banknotes, different coins, and a different value as well. The comparison I would say that you can make is if you think that all the different countries...
Denmark.
So this was the way we played.
Copenhagen.
Hey, hey.
Copenhagen, Denmark. Sorry. Hấp, hấp, hấp. Chụp anh nè. Trời. Ok.
Cái thành phố này nó hay hơn là ở Belgium.
Nhưng mà sao ít người quá hả?
They have a little boat tour too.
Hả?
Tour, you can take it. Yeah, you get a boat, I guess.
Oh, that's a tour. They had a tour.
They tour probably this river.
Yeah, who
See, canal tours right there.
Yeah.
But I don't think, come on, you keep moving that.
Oh, okay.
They're all over there already. You know what? That this is like Belgium, huh?
Yeah.
Along the line right here.
Belgium, yeah.
Remember
Maybe Victor, here more make cost more. Maybe next to have maybe cost double.
Oh yeah. That's what she said, 200 kron for one dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like about $40, huh? Yeah.
Đây đây, cái này như nào?
In shop the Middle East, con bé xinh quá hả?
Claro, no tampoco de eso. Digamos gordura, no gordura. O eso. Entonces el problema era que estaba así, salía feo, como
Middle East. Middle East. Chừng có trâu.
Cái này nó ngọt hả?
À.
Ở đây không có ai ăn uống rồi, thấy toàn uống không mà không có ăn, tại mắc quá à. Uống không à, không có ăn. Mấy này nó uống bia dữ nha, ôi thằng nào cũng xích phát hết trơn á.
How much?
Nhưng mà cái đó là salad đó.
À.
Còn mấy con là khác.
Cheap, right? At least 200 something.
Yeah, because I think it's just like $40 for salad. 40 kron, right?
Or talk about
Forget it, we go back over the other end and eat inside.
Go to the hotel, eat the hamburger. McDonald's.
Cho mấy cái thằng phim nãy nó mới đi một cái ly.
one tray is 89. And the main is 170.
Oh, see, you want the whole thing, the whole
Yeah.
menu 275. You have cái chỗ này cái này là Old Harbor hả? Nhớ hỏi anh mà mình ví dụ như mình không có đi tour đó, mình tới muốn tới đây mình đi kiếm đường kiếm xe đồ cũng mệt đó.
Đúng rồi, không biết chỗ nào đi nữa.
Tiếng nói nó tùm lum nó lằn quanh đó. That's probably a church or something, huh?
I think we have to go.
Go back.
There's 1 hour left.
Oh, wow.
Then we have to walk to the other place and
To
find
eat?
something to eat.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back
Okay.
there. We have to go to
Oh, the other's gone.
the shopping town. Yeah.
They're all drinking. They're all getting drunk.
This will play supposed to be packed on Saturday.
Well, they probably later on.
If you go to Paris, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Are we going to cross here?
Huh?
Oh, we can pass here if you want. That's okay.
Okay. Pass here, Victor. China nè. Take away, China, take away.
I tried the box takes away.
That's low. Sữa rạp ở Denmark. Hả? Yeah, right now, yeah. Maybe they call it Market Square.
Market Square, yeah.
Yeah.
Town Hall of Copenhagen. It's a little bit of a mess at the moment because of the roadworks, and starting from one of the attractions of the city, which is their main shopping street. It's referred to often, it's several different streets joined together, but collective dance that goes along there. But you can see this morning it's a little bit quiet. If you look on the left, on the corner of the building, can you see the red lighting with the number scale going up? And right at the very top, you can see there's a golden statue of a girl on a bicycle. Can you see it?
Yeah.
And on the other side, the counterpart is a girl with an umbrella, and that's meant to be a barometer. And the Danes always think it's very funny when they say this are the only two honest girls in Copenhagen. But I don't see them move word, and then we can progress from here.
Definitely.
Yeah, and it's got a very fine collection of Porkugats, you know. It's now owned by one of the ministries. The next building on the left with the green line outside, that is Christian IV's arsenal. Here you can. But if you look back here to the right, you get a nice photo of the green copper roof and the dragon's tails up the spire. I just looked at the bicycles to get out. That used to be moored out at sea and used as a lighthouse. And over on the other side, it's all cafes and restaurants. Quite a few people haven't gone home from last night yet. See them sitting up at the end. Quite regularly fall in the canal, as you can imagine. We'll make a quick stop here. Anybody wants to get a photo? Anybody who wasn't here yesterday? We're very near the water. Don't walk out the bus and into the canal.
Hôm qua mình cứ chụp ở đây không ạ? Chụp chỗ này để là thứ.
Đây này giống như hôm qua chỗ mình quất phải không? Đúng rồi, quất kia. Ồ, quất kia, quất. Ở ngoài này cũng gì dữ. We here yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah, we here yesterday.
Last night. Yeah.
Yeah, we are on the other side. Yeah.
I think we're fresh now.
The Danish word for amber, but amber is found on the beaches. It falls in the sea over in, rolls up on the beaches here. The oldest bit we've got in Denmark is a
Ocean với Channel.
Nè, ocean gì, ocean.
Sea.
What you see across the water here is our new opera house.
Oh.
Opera house.
This last winter. And is it really true there aren't any Australians in the group? Yeah. Oh, okay, no, I just didn't hear. Yeah. You know that why I ask is because the Sydney Opera House, you know, the one that looks like a butterfly, that was built by a Danish architect. And we thought a lot of you standing here in February in a snowstorm. So what they're going to do now is either build a tunnel or like it. They're made by an Italian-American called Pomodoro. And I've got quite a lot of this stuff in the States. Have we got some Americans with us? Yeah. She is still just as popular as she ever was. She still works for the royal family. She's still called Princess Alexandra. So extremely, extremely nice girl. Danes love them. Then the older prince, Frederick, he goes off to Australia and he goes into a there are no walls around the palaces, there are no chains. It's probably the only palace in the world where you could, if you're rude enough, peer through the window. But the soldier would be there immediately. So don't kiss or cuddle them or anything like that. Take a photo, that's fine, but then leave them alone. And don't stand any nearer than 3 meters. Okay? So if I lose you here, go back towards the fountain. Turn left, go back to the car park, and at 9 o'clock the toilets will be open. Okay, so I'll be standing there to direct you in.
Do they do changing guard around here sometimes?
They change the guard every 2 hours, otherwise they have to stand here forever. Yeah. So
Every 2 hours.
every 2 hours.
Tại vì mùa hè chứ mùa đông cũng chẳng ma nào tới.
Bài này phải nói chuyện khó nghe. Mình đi đến sớm mấy người kia nó mới đến thôi.
Quá trời sao tốt chợ. Mấy cái thành này nè, ở Washington nó có 10 cục. Đó, ở New York đó.
Bà nói hả? That's Opera House.
Cái này em nghĩ buổi chiều nó bán cái tour đi đây nè, cái này nè, ăn ấy rồi. Nó tour rao cái river, cái harbor này nè. Nói thấy không? Nó để cho chó đái gì đó tùm lum.
14 days this summer. Just looking to the right, one of our fountains, the Giffian fountain, you can see a goddess Giffian with her 4 sons, the 4 bulls. She's ploughing out a piece of land out of Sweden. She throws it into the sea, and her 4 sons. The little church here is the English church, St Albans, built by a Danish princess who married Edward VII of England, became Queen of England. And this dug out 400 years ago as fortifications of Copenhagen. Looking at the left, you can just see behind the buses that is another cruise ship over there, little one. The Crown is. So you have to use your elbows, get in, have a look. And when you've got your photo, come back to the bus, please. Oh, there are 2 cruise ships over there.
Bà nói mấy người Asian đó, người ta super t-shirt đó, người nào cũng muốn rờ cô Little Mermaid, nó leo lên nó bị nó push xuống, leo lên nó trơn, nó té xuống dưới sông á. Rồi mấy người ở đây là mấy người ta nói Little Mermaid push mấy người nó té xuống sông. Cái hồi 9/11 á, có thằng nào lại đây nó explode cái làm cái tượng rớt xuống dưới nước á, mà bà chỉ không bị sao, chỉ bị bruise này kia thôi à.
I think that's made up.
Yeah.
The explosion, I think she's lying.
The explosion is 9/11.
Yeah, I think she's lying. Yeah.
She said not terrorism, but tourism.
It's a lie. It's not true. No. I didn't read about it.
Well, I'm sorry, but I'll put it on CNN next time.
I didn't think you made it up.
You are right. Can you take a picture of me down here and set up going down there?
Chưa. Hả? Xuống dưới hả? Dưới đi.
I don't have to get one here.
Xuống nó sợ.
los fondos.
Hop.
Olha aí que muito cheio da pressa.
Đi xuống đi. Nè xuống đây nè, đây nè. Đây nè. Xuống dưới, bước xuống đổ kìa, chừng nha. Chưa, từ từ. Rồi nắm tay nè. Bước xuống đổ á, chừng này, xếp kia. Ok. Bước từ đá kia, bước từ đá kia, bước từ đá kia, bước con đó kìa, đó, đó được rồi. Đứng đó được rồi, cần gì đến giữa. Đứng đó được rồi.
용구야 지금.
손 잡으셔야지. 그럼.
Get a green light, I'll show them to you.
So
So this green door has got a little window in it, and in the window, coming up on the left-hand side, nearly level with it. Just look here, this green door,
400,000.
right?
400
Yeah.
years
See the
old.
two
400 years
dogs
old
over
house.
See
there?
that
I need
dog?
help today, the heads were facing.
Ở đó.
Cái câu chuyện con đốc bà kể sao bà nói là con đốc.
Đi.
Đúng rồi, nó trên trên car. Thì sao nó rồi thì phải quẹo, không phải nó quẹo.
Chưa, từ từ. Biết đâu. Không, cứ đây, biết đâu đi đâu thì đó chưa. Đấy.
Kịp đó nó đi lại.
Kẹp gì nó thấy ngõ phải ngừng lại, biết không, phải hiểu như vậy đó. Thấy rõ không? Đương nhiên phần ngõ nó ngừng lại, quẹo nó làm gì?
Thế đi ra. Ra cho anh Thu. Người nào cũng muốn đi theo.
They know it. They know it. Go here.
Where's that at?
Thì có gì đó thì đó mày không?
Ngay chỗ đó, chỗ corner đó. À. Đó, đứng đây được rồi, bạn đứng đó này. Đứng đây mình. Đứng đây được rồi, bạn cho đứng đây là đứng được rồi đó.
Đây đi. Giống rồi.
Được rồi đó. Cho move forward đấy nè.
Oh.
Forward.
Okay.
Good.
Fíjate que no lo veo.
Aquí, arriba.
La barrita, güey.
Arriba.
Yeah.
Very good.
Hombre, ¿cómo está?
Mình cũng lucky.
Lucky. Tìm được này là phải gì?
England Ở đâu nhớ ở đâu có lợn Greek không?
Monaco.
Đúng 12 giờ.
Chị check nữa.
No sabe cantar.
¿Nos ponemos en Japón?
¿Cómo lo conseguís vosotros?
Sí, el paraguas que ha hecho Ronald, yo te quedas súper inspirada. ¿Cómo ves que estoy acorrocado?
Por dentro del cuello le está metiendo.
No lo veo.
Yo trabajo para allá.
Mira cómo se va. Pues otra batería que... Nos están fallando las baterías, la mía pasa lo mismo. Ahora esos se desaparecen, ¿eh? Ahora las puestas. Hay que pintarlo.
Người ta chờ từ hồi nào.
Mình lucky mình đi theo được nó.
Como son pequeñitos, estás ahí con el secador. ¿Que no? Voy a secar a uno, a ver.
Giống như mễ.
Này giống rồi.
Pero ahora te giras. No, yo le digo, por favor, y le digo, pues ya. Eso los zapatos le duelen, míralo. Sí, al de allá llevo los zapatos. No, déjalo como estaba. Dice, te lo voy a quitar. Dice, te voy a quitar el paraguas y ha sido cuando lo has cerrado.
Nhỏ quá hả bà? Sao miếng nó nhỏ hả? Miếng này là nhỏ xíu à.
Ahora coger el gel.
Dạ đó.
Mira, si se van para allá, hay que coordinar otro sitio. Que se van por allí. Vale, ya está bien, ¿no? Oye, ya hemos visto.
Dạ yo.
Toda esta gente que está aquí. Oye, que ahí está. Y estos paraguas que todo.
Go to a canal tour in Denmark.
With a lot of bars, drunken sailors and easy ladies. But during the 80s, Nyhavn was restored, and today it's one of the most exclusive parts of Copenhagen with lots of good restaurants. Wir sind jetzt in Nyhavn, zu Deutsch Neuer Hafen. Und früher war der Hafen den Seefahrern vorbehalten. Die gewöhnlichen Kopenhagener waren hier nicht willkommen. Und die Nordseite hier wurde deshalb als die unanständige Seite bekannt. Aber im Laufe der 80er Jahre wurde Nyhavn restauriert und es sollte eine der attraktivsten Wohnungen und Restaurantketten Kopenhagen. Og det nærmer os en meget lav bro, så pas på hovederne. We are approaching a very low bridge, so please watch out for your hats and remain seated. Og de næste brugte ser ni. The bridge.
Ở bên đây là có gì đâu, cái vào lịch có gì đâu. Đấy là cái tour này em thích nè. Cái tour thì có nó hay.
Cái này đi vô.
Đây quá.
Opera House over there.
Københavns skuespillerhus, der vil blive bygget som del af det kongelige teater. Das neue Schauspielhaus Kopenhagens aufgeführt und er soll in 2008 fertigstehen. Finanziert und kostete 350 Millionen Euro. Die Oper besteht aus 14 Stockwerken und hat über 1000 Räume. Und eine Person, die hier rauchen darf, ist unsere Königin Margrethe.
Còn được thì
se kongeskibene, das königliche Schiff Dannebrog. Und das ist das älteste Königsschiff, der immer noch benutzt wird.
on Queen Jack.
Ship is from 1932.
Oh, 1932.
Wow.
1932.
They're still
1932.
Og det grønne område her foran løber det er Sextus, og herfra affyres kanoner. Velkommen til alle begivenheder vil også være morgen og hver aften, så vi hyldes til den danske flag. And this green area in front with the flag on it, the school battery Sextus, and from here cannon salutes with loose gunpowder being fired at royal and official occasions, but also every morning and every evening for the honor of the Danish flag. And the Danish flag is the oldest in the world. Und das grüne Gebiet hier rechts, das wird nämlich 6
Nhà này là chỗ khi nào có tiền có lễ thì nó bắn tà đông ở đó đó. Mẹ bị rê cái phát này rê là từ buổi chiều nó đã ấy xuống.
Cannon.
Så en hvid skulptur blev lavet
Bên xưa dữ rồi nha.
Vi har lavet altså forskellige kunstnere, fordi for eksklusivt and they all symbolize one exile. Røde huseindhold sammen, og det er Trikronerfortet, som blev bygget i 1700-tallet for at beskytte København mod fjenderne. Fortet blev dog kun taget i brug en gang, og det var i 1801, da Lord Nelson og den engelske flåde angreb de danske forsvarslinjer. And if you look here to your right, you can see the two red houses in the horizon, and that's the old fortress, Trekroner, 3 crowns. It was built in 17th century to protect the independence enemies. It was only used once, and it was in 1801 when Lord Nelson and the English Navy attacked the English Red Side. Bildhauer Ewald Eriksen gemacht, der seine eigene Frau als Modell benutzt hat. In 1964 und in den 1990er wurde ihr Kopf gestohlen. Und obwohl die Polizei die Sache fast wie eine Mordgeschichte behandelte, haben sie nicht geschafft, den Kopf wiederzufinden. Aber glücklicherweise wurde das Rüstung bewahrt und somit...
Every year I get a free cruise ship stop over Cal Canyon. Restaurant ham sang kìa.
Thì đi tour vậy á, chiều tới có đủ hết trơn. Mình đi tour thử xíu là sao?
For the board, the Royal Yard, Dannebrog. Die 2 Kronenpavillons hier versammeln sich die königliche Familie, bevor sie an Bord der Königin Dannebrog geht.
Thuyền tới đó trước khi mà bo ra cái thuyền đó đó. Nó cũng cưng bả dữ thôi. Rồi vô family mà.
Which is considered to be one of the world's largest with 18,000 employees in over 100 countries. And on the top of the building there is a blue flag with a star with 7 points. And according to the management it symbolizes the 7 seas, but according to the employees it symbolizes the 7 days work week. That's why he's the richest man in Denmark. Und das weiße Gebäude hier rechts, das war das Hauptsitzquartier der dänischen Reederei.
Every day he comes.
Yes. Og her til højre vil kunne se kongehusets vinterresidens.
90 years old. 90 years old.
Og Amalienborg består af 4 symmetriske ædelfolder og dronningbryllet til venstre. Men hun er ikke hjemme i dag. And here to your right, you'll be able to see the Queen's winter residence, Amalienborg. And Amalienborg consists of 4 identical palaces. And the Queen lives in the palace to the left. But she's not at home today. She's in France. We have a French prince. Und hier rechts sehen Sie die königliche Winterresidenz
Henry là là con gái của bà Lý Thần Tần.
Hammerkirken, som var en af Europas største kupler. Kirken skulle efter planen have været meget større, men på grund af pengemangel blev det 1800
trên ga đây hả?
omkostningerne.
Không.
And in the background you can
Sáng
see
mình
the
đậu xa
marble
bớt, mình đậu đây là
church.
nhớ không? Trên xa
One of
bớt
the
đó.
largest domes in Northern Europe. The church was actually planned to be a whole lot bigger, but because of lack of money, in 18 by the company over there, by the shipping company.
Church of God. Queen là gì?
And here again you have a beautiful view to our new opera house. And this is the front entrance we have here, so people mainly arrive by
front
boat.
entrance. Oh, by boat. Oh, it's a front entrance.
And our opera is a very popular place. It's very difficult to get the tickets. It's been sold out ever since it opened.
Oh.
Christian den 4. i 1618. Og kongen ville anlægge et attraktivt købmandskvarter her, men han havde en del problemer til at begynde med. Den bestod kvarteret kun af mudder og sand, og derfor var kongen til at gå området til det rige købmand, og samtidig lå den 12 års skattefrihed. Men Jerry von Stadt anlegen. Aber am Anfang waren die Grundstücke nur aus Schlamm und Morast. Und der König hatte sie deshalb den Kaufleuten geschenkt. Außerdem hatte er ihnen 12 Jahre Steuerfreiheit versprochen. Und heute ist Christianshafen auf Christianity
This view by German.
Und hier vorne links sehen Sie den Turm der Erlöserkirche. Und der Turm besteht aus einer auswendigen Spirattreppe mit über 400 Stufen. Und es ist möglich, ganz nach oben hoch zu klettern. Und an der Spitze des Turms findet man eine goldene Christusfigur. Und das symbolisiert den Sieg des Christentums im 10. Jahrhundert.
Đứng giữa này đem chụp cái canal với cái bridge. Đầy hết trơn.
Gì đâu ấy gọi là.
Close view.
Wake up. Yeah, that's how we.
Silver Church.
Silver Church. Đây nè.
Very low, so it's really important to remain seated. Und die Brücke bitte sitzen bleiben.
Này nó dễ thương.
Get out, get out, get out.
And please be seated in the back.
Đi tour canal tour là đủ quá rồi còn gì mà. Cái này cũng hay chứ.
Hay á, hay á. Okay.
And some of the buildings you see here are the oldest in Copenhagen. Because Copenhagen did experience 2 big fires, but this part of the city didn't burn down. To speak in this area through the microphone, but there is a small interesting detail. The apartments to your left side cost 500 euros per month, and those to your right side cost 5,000 euros per month.
Ooh, 5,000.
We call it the sunny side.
5,000.
5,000 krone. Oh, 5,000 euro.
Euro. Oh.
Wow, 5,000 euro a month.
Yes.
For how big is a flat?
They are bigger, but still, it's the average price is 5,000.
Oh.
Wow.
And they have boats like we got cars.
Oh, okay. They had right to dock the boat. Yeah.
But it's look newer, huh? These are all buildings.
Those are, they are actually year built. But this one is also brand new. But it just looks quite boring, a little bit boring.
This kind or
Yes.
inside?
This to buy such an apartment cost 10 million kroners. Yes, such one along the waterfront.
Oh,
But you
okay.
can get some for 3 million kroners in
Inside.
the town.
But in the countryside probably
Cheaper, yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Og her har vi så den sorte diamant, som blev bygget i 1999 som del af det kongelige bibliotek. And this black building to your right is the Black Diamond and is an extension of Royal Library from 1999. The building leans 7 degrees towards the water, so the water is being reflected into the building when sun shines. It looks like small sparkling diamonds. Und das schwarze Gebäude rechts, das ist das schwarze Diamant und das ist eine Erweiterung der Königlichen Bibliothek aus 1999. Und das Gebäude hat eine Neigung von 7 Grad über dem Wasser, so das Wasser sich ins Gebäude reflektiert, wenn die Sonne scheint. Og den røde bygning her til højre er Christian den Kjærs Rådhus. First beer has never been brewed here. The brewery burned down twice. It was decided to use it as a warehouse instead. And in the warehouse, the beer for the Danish Navy and the Royal House was kept.
10 million
And it's being told that the Danish seamen drank up to 10 liters of beer per day. So all the important is the oldest in Northern Europe. It was sold last year and today it's a privately owned houseboat. Founded ned i 1794. And the next bridge here in front is called the Marble Bridge, and the two Rococo pavilions here to your right are the only remains from the first Christian War palace. A palace that was built for a king in 1740, but it burned down in 1794. Und die nächste Brücke ist die Marmorbrücke. Und die zwei Rococo-Pavillons hier rechts sind die einzigsten Reste des ersten Christiansborg-Schlosses aus 1740, das 1794 niedergebrannt ist. You can see the Danish National Museum, which is one of the oldest and most beautiful Rococo buildings in Copenhagen. It was originally built as a prince palace. Und hier links sehen Sie das Dänische Nationalmuseum, und das ist eine der ältesten und schönsten Rococo-Gebäude in Kopenhagen. Og den næste bro er meget smalt, så vi beder om at holde hænderne indboldt. And the next bridge is very narrow, so please keep your hands inside of the boat. Und die nächste Brücke ist sehr schmal. And this large yellow building to your right is Thorvaldsen's Museum. And Thorvaldsen was a Danish sculptor who lived in Rome for 40 years. He returned to Copenhagen in 1838, where he was celebrated as a national hero. And today he lays buried inside of the museum. And Thorvaldsen was an honored citizen, so he was the one and only man who didn't have to pay taxes to the Danish state. Und das gelbe Gebäude hier rechts, das ist Thorvaldsens Museum.
The only one không phải bê tắc. Đi 40 năm bên cái ông người đây nè, ông đi 40 năm bên Italy, ông học về sculpture, rồi ông về lại đây nè, ông lập cái sculpture museum. Sculpture là làm lý tượng đó. Để về ông được honor đó, phải về.
Her frem til venstre har vi statuen af biskop Absalon, som grundlagde København i
Có nhiều cái tour nó cho đi canal tour này thấy
And
không?
right now we're in Gamle Strand, in English, the old beach, and it was here Copenhagen was founded. And this used to be a fish market for more than 800 years. And here in front, to your left, you can see a statue of Bishop Absalon, who founded Copenhagen in 1167. And he is invested in Gamle Strand. Und hier wurde die Stadt Kopenhagen gegründet. Und hier vorne sehen Sie die 28. However, there have been 2 other palaces here by the same name, but they all burned down. Christianborg houses the Danish Parliament, Supreme Courts, and the Royal State Rooms. And at the top of the
Để nào
tower,
buổi
you can
sáng
see
nè, buổi
3
sáng ba đổ mình xuống đây nè, chụp cái đuôi của con dragon theo nè, nhớ không?
Powers of a democratic parliament. Und hier rechts sehen Sie das Christiansborg Schloss aus Jahr 1928. Und das ist das dritte Schloss mit diesem Namen an dieser Stelle, da die ersten 2 niedergebrannt sind. Christiansborg erhält das dänische Parlament, das oberste Gericht und die Empfangsräume der Königin. And the bridge. Har vi en gamle
Chụp cho em lại
and
cái bóng
Gamle
này với
Graf starting to read the
Dragon
tower.
tail.
And at the top of the
Dragon
tower you
tail.
can see 3 crowns, which are a symbol of old friendship union between Denmark, Sweden and Norway. Und hier rechts sehen Sie die alte Börse mit diesem Gebäude, der Turm. Hier steht, dass wir abschwätzen.
Sáng bà kia đâu có nói cái này.
Das ist ein Symbol der alten Freundschaft.
Nè, không nghe nói không? Three cái crown đó, represent Sweden,
We're again approaching a very low bridge, so please watch out for your hats. Som blev tegnet af Anna Jacobsen i 1978. Bygningen er lavet af marmor, som blev importeret fra Norge. And this building to left is the Danish Central Bank. It was designed by Anna Jacobsen in 1978. The building is made out of marble, which was imported from Norway. And some people find its appearance quite boring, so they call it the freezer or the parking garage. Und das graue Gebäude links, das ist die dänische Zentralbank. Buildings here to your right is the Danish Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And as you can notice, there are very small windows to the building. It meant that people stay focused at work and not what's happening outside. Und die 3 blauen Gebäude rechts, das ist das dänische Außenministerium. Och smäller ihop som vi får se av i ett kort ögonblick. And we are back in the New Harbor, and it was here our famous fairy tale writer Hans Christian Andersen lived for 25 years. And he lived in this grey narrow house with number 67. Und es war in diesem Baumspannhaus, das ist ein berühmter Märchenverfasser Hans Christian Andersen wohnt.
Ai ở đây rồi.
Nói nghe không rõ.
It's a god day here in København. And right now we're back into New Harbor, and it's here on Torrance. I hope you have enjoyed it.
Just outside the shooting range, actually. Oh, yeah. I did the backside. I would like it to last exactly 1 hour because there's a parade at 7:20. I think the girls know where it is. But they're all interested.
Gonna wait for the fire to go out. Yeah. Oh, they don't encourage it. Only on the beaches and things like that. Yeah, but
Only in Canberra, I think you're
I did. Took 2.
That's lovely.
Đi
Okay, I want to hear too.